terms of the drive.
You may be seated. All right. I usually just call it the Rico McGuire. I will call the Arbor 1 matters. Rico McGuire is the one that I call, but I call in all of the cases. Council, take your nature.
Lou Masco.
You may be seated. I'm gonna have to mute somebody in there. All right. Go ahead, try. State your appearances.
Ellis Friedman for the plaintiff.
Lou Masco here for defendant.
Min Kim also defendant.
All right. I set this hearing today on these matters in an attempt to try to figure out, pursuant to the court's previous order, what had been done and completed. It's indicated that I would receive something yesterday. I received it today. I've attempted. I'm gonna do. You sent it to me over here. And I'm not entirely sure because of the original email that came to us as to what some of that means. But the green are those the highlighted green, I'm presuming, to get past the small print here, but the green, I'm presuming, are what's being done. And maybe Mr. Friedman, you can tell me how to read this, because I'm trying to figure out, there are ones that are highlighted green.
Mr. Beal's on the Zoom and he can.
All right, somebody tell me how I'm supposed to read this.
Mr. Beal?
Oh, yeah, the green items are 100% complete. The way this was compiled was Chad Brewer, our inspector, entered all of these apartments after our last court meeting and met with many of the residents and detailed out any complaints they'd told you, any complaints they'd told legal aid, and any new complaints they wanted to tell Chad. So this is a very, very comprehensive list of everything going on in these apartments. A lot of it's new, though, just as of 2 days ago, and it's all compiled here. And then what's highlighted in green is complete, and everything else we're working on today, tomorrow, hiring contractors, following up the contractors, pulling the necessary permits, all of that stuff.
But I guess the green ones are completed.
The green is completed, yes. So, for example, 721 Clark, number 205, which is row 20 on the sheet. The resident said, my faucet drips, and our solution was to hire plumbers, and plumbers has resolved that faucet.
And so that is completed.
Oh boy.
And these are the cases that are assigned that have the landlord tenant. Okay. Let me just put it this way. When I saw this, part of my concern, and correct me if I'm wrong, but of the 20, presuming this list is right, of the...
I dropped out of the call. I'm back in.
All right. Presuming that this is right, of the 21 units that I listed back on February 4th, only 6 have been completed.
On that original order, most of it was related to no heat, and we've determined that everyone has heat. That was the main focus. And then now there's much smaller issues.
Well, there was no heat, there's mold, there were other items that were on that list. And I'm now well into this, and I have 6 units. I don't get it.
Six units where 100% of the issues are complete.
That doesn't mean that there hasn't been progress made on others, however.
I get that, but I also, the court issued an order, and from what I'm seeing on this list, I don't see that it's being done.
Well, in fairness to the contractor, your list had a number of units that are defendants here, and then there also was a list that was provided by legal services of some people who are not involved in the litigation who had what they perceived to be critical issues, which some of them were, and those were addressed. So there were more issues than there were orders, and they had to do some triaging in the sense of what was more, I guess I'll say, habitable issues as opposed to other types. So there was some triaging done by the contractor, understandably, given another list from legal services.
Yeah, and 6 of the apartments are now vacant.
Ms. Kim, you were going to say something?
Yes, Your Honor, just as to this list with the green coloring, I just wanted to point out that some of the work that is alleged to be done, we've spoken with tenants here and they are not done. I can be more specific if the court would like. So
Please.
for 837 apartment 305.
Say again.
837 Green, apartment 305. It said that she was sprayed for her roach infestation, but the tenant reports it's not true. They never showed up. She has
Is she here?
Yes.
Take your head down. All right, there you go. It's not that cold. All
Oh,
right. What's your name?
Sharon Mitchell Carson.
And you reside at the 837 Green 305?
Yes, sir. I didn't even know they said they cleaned my apartment. I just got an email like the day before stating that they were gonna come between the hours of 12 and 2
Today?
yesterday. They never came at all. And I stayed home. I even told my job I'd be late just to make sure that maybe they might come after. And I didn't leave the house till 5.
Yesterday.
And no one came to spray my apartment. And I took pictures of the roaches that live with me, We share dinner sometimes. Yeah. They got a social security number and everything.
From the roaches?
Oh my God, yeah, they pay rent.
Oh,
That's how many there are.
All right,
Pretty
that's
cool. I was told today that they were identified as German roaches, and German roaches multiply at a faster rate. And that is why when they put
you're an entomologist now.
yeah, actually an entomologist came to my house. Told me.
Okay, wow. All right. So this is a problem. If I have my statement was not to be we were in church, so I don't need anybody to sign on. But all right, but appreciate it. I have her here saying it wasn't done. I have a document submitted to the court saying it was done.
I can't even hear myself half the time, much less hear what's going on when I've got people in.
Okay,
Behind.
folks, you're gonna have to quiet, please. So this is a problem because she's standing before me telling me nobody showed up. This list that I have says somebody came, and oh, man. And both can't be true.
It does state on the email that I need to leave the premise once he comes for 3 to 4 hours because they were bombing.
That they were bombing, but they never showed up. So you didn't have to leave. You were just there. Stay right there, young lady. Is there another one or is that just that one that you had?
That is the sample from the list, but also the list does not include a tenant who reported severe repair issues to the court and are part of the order.
I think there's 4 that I identified that
Oh.
aren't on this list that were part of your order, Your Honor.
4, say that again.
I just did a quick.
Yeah, no, that's fine, because I,
4 that were included in your order are not listed on the spreadsheet.
They may have been the ones that have vacated. There's, I think, 6 who vacated.
Well, you said there's
One person.
go ahead.
Not on this list, Your Honor. We have a tenant who has no heat as of Monday. She went to the office immediately on Monday to report it. And we received a document from Mr. Beal saying that she reported it just yesterday. And she just showed me her emails and messages and so forth. So she still has no. So we asked that she be added to the order.
Was that you that you were trying to say that to me? Or it's a whole different thing. But that person with the no heat is not a pending case before me. Is that right?
She has a case before you, Judge Edwina Harris.
Oh, okay. Folks, no, I got you. I'm just trying to make sure I'm following what people are saying. There's a tenant on the list who now has no heat. And that's the one you're telling me that was reported, but then.
Not on the original order from the court from 2 weeks ago, but I was asking that she be added to the list. And I'm.
Because it's a pending case, but it wasn't something that was, got it. Okay, now I follow. All right.
Also, while I'm at it, Ms. Grove is here and she says her heat is like at 57. She does not know why they think that the heat is repaired when it's not.
What's her name? And does she have a case before me?
Yes.
Pardon?
That's the leaseholder man. Remember the previous manager was careless in their paperwork, so we could have a lease with my name on it.
I'd love to say I remember that, but that I remember. that I do remember. And then here you are talking. All right. That unit. Okay. And ma'am, what was your name? Yes, you. Yeah, so pull that one. And so you have no heat. Hold on. I got you. But that's, and then fans, right? All right. And so there's no heat. I'm sorry. All right. Yeah. The representation, as the court understood it, that was made to me was that heat had been checked in these units. And I know at the time of the hearing back on Tuesday, I don't recall which tenant it was, had explained that, yeah, the heat might be working there, but then there are the other rooms that were still cold. And I'll be honest with you, with this young lady sitting here before me right now, I get there's the heating issues, but this young lady sitting here before me right now, and I'm looking at a list that says something's done, and she's telling me that it's not done, is a huge problem.
I'm looking.
I don't know what to believe, but I'm
Yeah,
gonna be honest with you. Yeah, I believe her.
I'm looking at the Griffin pest control report that says her unit was treated. That's why I relayed that to the court. But yeah, we need to
No,
break
but Mr. Beal, it doesn't work that way. I issued an order that certain things be done. I was supposed to get a list yesterday so that I could more thoroughly go through that list. I didn't get it. I didn't get it till this morning. I did the best I can in looking at this list. This list is telling me, just by way of example, that her unit was treated. Without her being here to tell us something different, the court would assume that it was treated. I don't care where the information came from. I don't care what you looked at. I don't care what was presented in what way. No one makes a misrepresentation to this court about what's done, ever.
we would need the opportunity to bring the Griffin pest control technician to testify to the court.
Well, get him here today. If I'm going to have to play these games, we're going to play them by my rules on my turf. Let's go. Let's get him here today. She's here. She's the one that's telling me it wasn't done. I've got a document submitted by the plaintiff that tells me something was done and it wasn't done. You also told me that all the heat was checked, and I still have all of these complaints coming through. Some of them you're telling me are new. I don't know what to believe, but I'm going to tell you, I'm having a hard time believing you guys right now.
Don't lump me in there.
The no heat.
The plumber who came in today spoke with the main office, and I do have the plumber's name. The main office also confirmed that Griffin never came to my building,
The what?
that the Griffin Pest Control never came to my building. He
Who
did,
confirmed that?
the front office told the plumber when he called because I let him know that I never had pest control.
And why is it represented to the court? Mr. Friedman, you better talk to your client because I do not play that way. You can talk to him, but I don't even want to hear anything right now. I'm going to stand in recess because
I have a 3 o'clock. How about we reconvene with you? I have 3 o'clock with you.
you better talk to your client because I want to know. I have no idea. I got 6 things on this that supposedly are done. But now I don't even have that done because she's telling me it's not done.
They said they were gonna probably get to it today or tomorrow, but saying that it was supposed to be done one day, but not doing it and claiming you did it is lying.
Sir.
We just got that list right when you got the list. Well, actually about a half hour later. And things that are in here that they are done, we either have not gotten a permit for, so fixing drywall, or permits were pulled today to do that work, and we have not scheduled an inspection. So, and any of the units pending in your case, no inspections have been scheduled to do the work. 2 permits have been pulled, total. And so,
So if it tells me, just if I'm hearing you, so if it tells me drywall's been done, it couldn't have been done, or it was done in violation of the city ordinance because it shouldn't have. Court's gonna stand in recess.
All right.
Mr. Friedman, you better talk to your client.
I will, Your Honor.
One West, but and number 1 West versus Rico McGuire et al.
That was Friedman for the plaintiff, Your Honor.
Maskell for defendant.
All right. I think when we ended, there were there's an indication in terms of what was provided with the court wasn't quite true. I was then sent I guess, service inspection report from Griffin. And I thought the young lady I thought she was here.
Your Honor, she was present, but then she had class.
Got it. Okay. Because I had one question for her because first of all, the inspection report, let me just pull that up on my screen. For her unit, that's not, I mean, it's a misnomer to say that that was complete because it's not complete. I'm not even sure based upon what she had told us that there was an inspection of her unit to even get the indication that the unit's sanitary because she said nobody was there. So
I don't know what Griffin did, but I know they sent Mr. Beal a bill for inspecting it. And I guess I don't think that it's unfair for Mr. Beal to assume that if he got a bill for an inspection, the inspection was done.
but the problem is, I appreciate that, but the problem to say that there's the next column over where there is nothing in there regarding in progress, but her unit hasn't been exterminated. There's been no chemicals or anything applied to her unit according to this.
What I heard her to say, and I don't know if she's conversant, but she seemed to be. What I heard her to say was that there was an inspection that said that she had German roaches and it needed to be bombed. And I assume that she heard that from somebody other than her neighbor.
Right. And here's what I guess I'm getting at. wherever that came from. But this, it seems to me that then in the in progress column on this sheet, there should be something there. This makes it look like it's done, but it's not done. And I'm unclear why there were a number of different units on this, but it doesn't tell me, let's say that it does have to be bombed, but it doesn't tell me when that's going to happen or if it's going to happen. Nothing on here tells me that it's going to happen, even. I'm also concerned what was reported from the inspector from IPSI that there are indications that certain work that would require permits is done, but the permits hadn't been pulled.
I think it depends on which properties and which units, because Your Honor, some of the work that some drywall work needs to be inspected, I understand. If there was something behind the drywall that was causing the problem, you have to make sure that what was behind the drywall causing the problem was fixed before you can get the drywall permit closed. But then there's also drywall work that's more or less just cosmetic, where somebody's banged into a wall or something and the people fix it. So I don't believe that Mr. Myers would say any drywall work, if a door punches a hole in the drywall, requires a building permit to be patched and fixed. And so go ahead.
Actually, I also have my building official here to discuss some of these things. If I may.
Yes,
Can I have Mr. Dunham come up as well?
absolutely. Just make sure to place your names on the record.
Yeah. I'm Joe Myers. I'm the Community Services Director, and I have Jerry Dunham, the Building Department Manager and Licensed Building Inspector, Official, and Builder. And so the reason why we wish we would have gotten this list earlier is we could have went through some of the things they are actively pulling permits for in other units, just not in these units. And when they're saying things are done, when we haven't even had an inspection, it's hard for us to know that. And so while there are some small drywall fixes, the vast majority of the ceiling and drywall and disrepair, especially due to the pictures Mr. Beal has directly on the wall going behind. We want to actually ensure that any drywall is done correctly to the code. And so Mr. Dunham can actually speak to that. But that's where, because we haven't actually, we just got this list today, hey, we want to go out and inspect. So our plan is to do that on Monday. If our proper notice is given to tenants. But once again, we don't have all the properties that are before you right now on this list that we received today.
Right. So what would you want to tell me, anything?
Well, we're talking about the drywall, we're set up, we have told my property that any drywall repair and a fire assembly would be ceilings of our buildings or areas where we have noticed that there was mold, moisture. All of those do require a building permit because that is liability with fire separation. You have to have it fixed correctly. Can't just sometimes a little hole, you not just patch a little hole, you have to cut it a certain size because it's part of fire assembly, that's how it's tested. So a couple of these on the green for different properties do not have that ceiling drywall repair, don't have a building permit at the time for that project.
So, yes, if you will, when are these, when the property intended to comply with the order? I mean, if One quarter means that our city's landlord gives an inspection before we do it. At least I would begin to see that progress. I am disappointed that this is the list that I have. And then this is all that has been done in effectively 2.5 weeks.
I think that it's important to note that I understand frustration here. It is important to note that it's been represented. There's been building permits pulled on these properties. There's 40 building permits total. There's not. There's a lot of work being done at these properties, these buildings, that is in addition to the work being done on these cases that are about. I think there's about 20 in front of you with respect to these repair issues. So it's not as if Beal's team is completely ignoring this problem or this project. They're doing a lot of work out there, and they may be spread too thin, but that doesn't mean that they're not trying to get the job done.
Yes. To be clear, the 2 permits being pulled are for the units before the court. Right now, I do have 38 permits that have been pulled on the property. So there are many permits being pulled for other units, predominantly 721 Clark and 720 Green are the vast majority of the permits being pulled. So I do agree that permits are being pulled for that entire complex. But what I'm telling you as far as the permits being pulled for the units before you right now, 2 have been pulled, no inspections have happened.
So this is Stuart Beal. I spent the past 2 hours on the call with the team, and we determined that 6 additional building permits need to be pulled related to this list. And we have entered those in the BSNA system and paid for them. The city has issued 1 of them in the past 2 hours. And so the city, probably Monday will process the next 5. And we pulled the project manager over here and went through all the units again. And, we're working hard to comply with the order. And if we have another week and talk about this next Friday, we'll be in good shape.
Well, yes, sir.
I also do want to bring up that this afternoon, one of the units on this list, we have tagged as being unsafe, unlivable because of the condition of that unit. Also in that same building, it's not on the list, but we also condemn that unit as being unsafe because of the conditions we saw this afternoon out there. And
Is somebody living in that unit?
Yes,
With 4 kids.
it'd be,
Edwina
Harris,
the one that spoke up about her sewage and.
so we checked the sewage issue out there, and
so
because of that, we had to tag it unsafe.
She is. So,
yeah.
So Ms. Hang on one moment. So her unit's been tagged as unsafe.
Unsafe.
Oh, dear God. Ms. Harris.
Yes, sir.
So how many people are in your unit?
It's me and I have 5 children. My youngest 2 are with my sister right now because of what's going on. And then right now, currently, it's me and my 2 oldest.
So we're gonna offer.
No, you're not just offering. She's gonna be in a hotel with those 2 children tonight. I don't care what you've got to do. She is not staying in that unit if it's tagged. So you can offer what you want. She better be housed someplace else tonight. So Ms. Harris, you pack up the things that you need. Somebody's going to be over there. You guys are going to have different living accommodations tonight until this court says otherwise.
Okay.
We're not going to have this. Okay. So was there anything else?
We're actually, so on that building, we have given the property owner 2 hours to actually start to do some of the work, because when we were in there, the conditions, Mr. Dunham saw the vast majority. Mine was just in Miss Edwina Harris's apartment, but that building, if you want to see some of the pictures, it's quite horrific.
Which building is that one?
815 Green.
And are there other residents in 815?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, and there was one other unit when I was there, I tagged on the spot unsafe.
Another unit, but that's not one that's before me.
Yeah, it doesn't appear, I don't believe it's before you, it'd be unit 102 in that building.
Your Honor, there are two other properties at 815 Green on your order. One is Joseph Blankenship at unit 301, and then number 9 on the order is unit unknown.
Unit, I'm sorry, say that again.
Unit unknown.
So we're moving to a hotel, guys, tonight. A hotel.
Why? A hotel.
Jesus Christ.
A hotel.
I have to go to work. So go wake up Ayana and tell her to come here.
So
Is it possible for them to get it livable in 2 hours?
Well, the one unit was the 2 units that were the main issue are vacant units. One has a bunch of trash. So you walk in that building, it just smells terrible because a unit's completely filled up trash that's vacant, that's unsecured, that squatters have been living in. The other unit next to it, which is below unit, which would be unit 103, which would be on the same sewer stack as 303. That unit, it has sewage leak or water leak. Everything else, carpet was completely soaked in the unit. So they have to get someone out there to start cleaning up the water, tearing out the carpet, tearing up any drywall that's molding, the sewer leaks. I mean, it was pretty bad. I got pictures of it if you
And
wanted to
Miss
see.
Harris, we not forget her last name, but in her unit, I would say it's one of the better units that we have actually inspected as far as cleanliness on the tenant's part. But there was so many flies and she had a lot of fly strips based on the standing water in the unit. The flies are just everywhere. We were seeing them buzzing around. And like I said, normally we understand that sometimes tenants are a problem. This unit was, in my opinion, very well maintained. Just there was nowhere for the sewage to go and it was backed up.
oh my God.
And then as far as her heat, she presented us the work order over them saying her furnace is broken and she might have a furnace by Monday. So, and I gave that to legal aid as well.
Your Honor, I'd like to note that her sewage issue is listed in the order, but it's not listed on the sheet that.
No, I know. Because she was here and told us about it. That it got placed into that order. The way that it.
But the repair list on the sheet provided this morning doesn't reflect everything in the order.
Yes, I know. When you made me aware of that during the initial hearing, I mean, I assumed that the 21 or 22 would be on that list. But to be honest with you, I wasn't necessarily focused on that, having just gotten it. I was more focused on what they were saying was done to those particular units. And then during this period in time when I had enough of a break or a little bit, I discovered that some of them aren't on the list. So I have no idea, if anything, what's being done with those particular units.
We identified 4 units in the order that are not on the list.
Got it. All right. Take care. Thank you, Amy. All right. So what? Was there something else? That's Mr. McGuire. Mr. McGuire, what do you want to say?
My mother's staying in that building. Her apartment is 204, and she had a red sticker since January.
So she's in green.
Eight,
What apartment? She's 815
24.
green.
Yes.
Your Honor, we
Yes.
emailed Mr.
Yeah, we've asked.
We asked her to be relocated, and Mr. Beal's response was that she should move in with her son.
In another condemned apartment.
Okay.
Mm.
But she is not one of the cases that's before me, correct?
I believe that we will probably be filing a lockout action for sure.
For, pardon?
Lockout actions.
To bring it. Gotcha. Okay. And that may be, quite frankly, part of the way of doing it. I would note a couple of things. And I think it was certainly anticipated a circuit court action may have been filed. I am going to be in communication with circuit.
It was filed.
And so that to see if they will reassign it to me as a circuit court judge. I've been through this complex through the last thing, and now I'm involved in this thing, and so I'm going to work on that hopefully the first part of next week. I've got calls in at this point. I guess the best thing that I could say, because some of these places aren't under my jurisdiction at this time, they may be either by virtue of the circuit court action or by virtue of cases that may be filed by legal services. I try to be as clear and as plain as I can. And so Arbor One West, Mr. Beal, you saw what I just ordered as it regards Miss Harris. If there are others that are similarly situated, I think that's what you ought to anticipate this court is going to order, and that you best just do it. And I can't make it any clearer than that. I realize those cases are under my jurisdiction, so I can't specifically order it, but they're going to get here somehow or another, because this is. You guys don't have the right to have people live like this. You just don't. And
I understand Your Honor, I understand your position thoroughly. And I'm not saying I disagree with anything you said today.
okay, go ahead.
But I do believe that that Mr. Beal sincerely believes that he's trying to be part of the solution, not the problem, and that he has crews out there. They are working. They are trying to be responsive. And I don't believe that he inherited this mess, I guess is the best way I can put it. He didn't cause it.
I understand that. But if part of what, I get that. And maybe I could sit there and applaud him on the back all I want. All I know is that as I look at all of these folks when they're in my courtroom, these are human beings that are having to live in a circumstance. Miss Harris, when she was standing before me, she tells me what the problem is, and maybe I didn't ask the right questions. And for that, Miss Harris, I apologize. But that she's got it's her and her 4 babies are living in a place of just sewage and flies all around. And so if you're going to fix it, okay, fix it. But you just can't have these human beings, these people, real people, just living in this garbage. You just can't. None of that is okay. Are there any of the other ones that are on my order that are stickered that
Me. You have the list of.
Can I say something really quick?
hold on, Miss Harris. Yes, Miss Harris, go ahead.
I'm on my way to work, but who do I get in contact with for tonight? Like, who am I supposed to call? Do I have to?
Mr. Brio, who's she gonna call?
Can you give me your phone number, please?
All right.
313.
Ma'am,
Oh,
put it, no, don't, I don't want it broadcast
okay.
everywhere in God's
Okay.
creation.
I'm sorry.
If you can type it into the chat, well, I don't have anybody here with me. Can you do it? You got Zoom? You got the controls? Okay. If you type it, put it in the chat, then we'll give it to Mr. Friedman, who can get it to Mr. Brio. That's because I don't want your
Thank
business
you
all
so
out.
much.
Pardon?
Okay. Thank you. And is it okay if I leave?
Yeah, yes, Miss Harris. It's all right. Yes, go ahead. You got to go to work. So go ahead.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. What happened?
While Mr. Myers
Yes.
wanted to raise an issue regarding plaintiff's continued efforts to collect rent from the tenants. Or many of the tenants today that we spoke to told us that they're constantly being asked to pay
There was
directly to plaintiff.
Yeah, there was one notice actually that was given to Mr. Myers where it was, I think it was an email or a written document that specifically said, you know, you owe us rent, please pay either via ACH or cash or credit card, which is contrary to the court's order as well. There's several notices that have been floating around. Another one says you owe us a lot of money and we want to do an occupancy check. And I think this is an effort to determine whether our units are vacant. And Your Honor pointed out that people may not have abandoned their unit to relocate. So I'm a little concerned that they're going to treat it as abandoned when that's not actually the case. And then the third notice that we've seen a copy of is a housekeeping notice where they're going to do a housekeeping inspection. And I was a little perplexed by the effort behind that. I just wanted to make the court aware of it. We, just one last note, we did offer some proposed language based on our meeting on Tuesday. Mr. Friedman suggested that we put together some language and we did forward some language to council if they want to use it about rent and escrow.
I'm going to ask legal services to draft an order for the court regarding this escrow so we can just get this all clear. Escrow on these cases, it's to be paid to the court and or the Ypsilanti building. Well, I want the ones before me are to be paid to the court. Additionally, I'll just put an end to this right now. All rent collected by the landlord on any of the subject properties before this court, they are to provide to the court an escrow check for that rent, prorated from January 10th forward of all funds that they've received on any of these, and they are to be paid to the court. And they need to do that by February 25th, Tuesday, February 25th, close of business. And it's to be paid, if you can place in the order, it's to be paid by certified funds.
Your Honor, was that for any of the units on the properties or just the court cases?
Just the court properties. Those are the only ones theoretically I have jurisdiction over at this point. And so in my intent on that is, okay, you can go out there and play games with the language you're using, but anything that's going to be paid over to them, it needs to be paid to the court. And I dare you not to do it. Okay.
So Judge, none of the 21 people that have given you, that have actually noted, there are one or two, and I have to, it's a little bit harder to kind of sort it out. There are one or two that have been condemned that are before you that just did not put their name on that order list.
Got it.
So I can email that to your
Yes,
clerk?
if you can send that to send it directly to Ann.
Okay.
Because I'll be,
Yeah, so I will get you that, but I do know there are one or two of the 20, now we're at 25 red tag units. In the building, like I said, we could have 24 units red tagged as of today when Jerry leaves here. Because if the work is not begun on 815 green, the whole building will be red tagged.
okay. All right. I get it.
So there could be, anyone on 815 might be red tagged effective tonight.
All right. And if you could let us know, if you could also place that in any communication to Ann.
Yeah.
So that I know.
I'll let you know.
All right. I think that deals with the concerns that have been raised about rent. So they can fashion whatever language, but my intent is that money is going to get you. Not going to be there. So they should use some language that is correct to the tenants and not mislead them as to where it should be paid. But if they don't want to do that, then they'll have to pay it here. And if I find out that rent was paid by a tenant to them and not deposited with the court, we're going to have real problems. Was there anything, is there any other issues that you were raising?
Now, did you really want to ask that question?
Well, no, I don't, but I'm almost compelled to at this point if there.
Well, Your Honor, I did speak to a tenant earlier and I did promise her to address to the court her concern. She vacated in January because she had no heat. And she would like to know how she can get her escrow funds back. And this is
it's what she paid and then she vacated because the heat didn't get fixed. And so she's now someplace else.
She's been out of her unit for over a month. And she would like her money.
Did she turn in her keys?
I'm not sure.
I don't know whether she has to or not, because that could be a constructive eviction.
We just don't know who's in and who's not. That's part of the problem. We've got 6 vacancies that are on.
No, I get that, Mr. Freeman. I guess my problem is that the ones that they're concerned about these empty units, but don't seem to be as concerned about the units that have actual people in. So that's why I'm not, if they're vacant, they're vacant. If you on her behalf or somebody if she can file a motion before the court, because I'd like to make sure it's addressed orderly regarding how that happens. Yes.
Yes, and this is Denise Fu Ellen. She is in 723 Green, unit 218. Make notes.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, here's the other thing. So that we can draw some of this to a close. So we have the escrow order. You're gonna draft that. There may be other cases coming by way of lockout or whatever. And so I understand all of that. Let me just say this, I am exceedingly troubled by what I view as absolute lack of progress. I don't know that I care about anybody's intentions. I, at this point, may have to just care about what the results are. In terms of it. So in that respect, because we were here, they knew that these repairs needed to be done. I issued an order February 4th. I don't see the progress that I'd like to see. I'm not saying that everything needed to be done, but I don't see the progress that I'd like to see. It seems that circumstances for some tenants are getting worse. What I am going to do is I'm going to set a hearing as to why the management, and I guess that's Mr. Beal, as well as Arbor One and Arbor One West, should not be held in civil contempt for failure to comply with the court's order. I have prepared, Mr. Friedman, you, I believe, can accept service on behalf of all of those parties. We have all copies. They're being filed in every one of the cases that are before me. And somebody's going to have to show cause why this stuff isn't done to the court's satisfaction. I hate to go that route, but I'm not going to have, I don't have a choice what I'm hearing today. I just, I don't see any other option because I don't think people, some are not listening to what the court is trying to tell them. So if I have to bring a heavy hammer, I'm just going to bring a heavy hammer. I was hoping we didn't have to go that route, but that's what I have to do. That's what we have to do. So we have copies for you of all. There are actually 40 copies of that order to show cause, and they've all been signed off and all set for March 11th. At 10, I do believe, so I can get some other things cleared out of the docket. All right.
Very well, Your Honor.
Anything else? No? So I can go start my weekend. All right. Did you folks have anything you wanted to tell me? I saw you back there and I didn't know if you were raising your hand.
Oh, yeah, that's my daughter. She can make it. She got COVID. It's COVID. It's like very cold here. The COVID thing is one of the first time. She took $1,500 over there. Started, we moved in August. But she moved in there. It was like young kids in there smoking marijuana, drinking, and everything. And they were jumping out my daughter's window. And I haven't made, she hasn't made no rent at Esco yet, but whenever she goes, I can't cover that for her. But we could have to.
What's her name? Okay. She should make sure that she's paying that. If you're gonna help her, but get her rent paid into escrow here, so we don't have an issue, okay?
I think it next Friday for I get my profit share.
Okay.
I don't think she owed that much of they saying, so she don't even stand there September.
Whatever the base monthly rent is, okay? She needs to pay it basically January and February at the court escrow. Okay, so we're not, some people may be looking for more before that, but January and February, worry about that, okay? Okay, all right.
Oh, yeah, one more thing, sorry.
I knew you weren't done.
They keep on emailing her and asking her about her money.
About her money, what?
Payment to them. They keep harassing her.
About what?
Take pictures of her escrow payment and send it to them. And then they told her to turn her keys in, but she still stay there. And they told her to turn her keys in, they gonna come up on Monday and inspect her apartment.
That's what you were talking about.
After we told them that we don't have no heat. She had 2 autism brothers that live there with her.
Okay, all right, ma'am. Somebody's gonna have to put together something. You talked about the emails and those kinds of things. I need to see something in front of me so that I can try to deal with it. Ma'am?
What are they? Lady that's emailing
Now you're gonna throw out name. That's okay. Just, I'll tell you what, get those to legal services. Okay, right here. And let them kind of get it before the court, get it properly before me. Okay. And I will deal with it. The only thing that I will tell you, and I know it's got to be a bit distressing. In my order, I laid out that they were to direct tenancies if they were here before the court to pay it to court escrow or to the Ypsilanti Building Department. Because they don't have COCs. So I'm just going to put it this way. Mr. Friedman, I know that you will direct your clients to do the proper thing. If they want to play with me,
They don't.
let them play.
They don't.
Because they don't want to play the game. They do not want to do that.
No, I agree.
And I am not, and just to be clear, I'm not going to have the higher ups tell me that somebody in the office did something that they shouldn't have been doing. The buck is going to stop as close to the top as I can get.
I hear you, Your Honor. The only one thing I did want to say kind of in response to the lady's issue, and maybe I misheard her, but she said she reported no heat and they said they were going to come out and inspect. I mean, that's okay, isn't it?
Well, it might, I don't think the two were connected. I think there was the report of no heat. Then there's the issue of her not paying and then wanting to inspect. I think, as I understood what she was telling me, those two things were connected, which was the same thing that Ms. Masco was indicating.
Yes, Your Honor, if I may, it seems like whenever the tenants bring up a repair problem, the first thing plaintiff wants to know is when they're going to pay their balance. They want proof of the payments in escrow, which they can just call the court and find out, honestly, or ask their counsel.
Oh, I don't think they really want to know that. What'd you say? Yeah, so I didn't use the word, but she did. I know what they're doing. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
I was wondering, because I know the court has asked us at the last hearing on Tuesday to inspect all of the units that are before the court. And you had said that a 24-hour notice. I was wondering if the plaintiff can give that notice over the weekend, so on Monday, myself and Mr. Dunham can go out and actually inspect all of these units.
Can that happen?
Sure.
All right. Turn it right now. Yes, ma'am.
Well, honestly, we already have one about because we have 5 checks happening on Monday for 3 different issues. We have a housekeeping check that they do. We have an occupancy check that they're doing on Monday as well. All these things are happening on Monday.
Oh, hold it. What do you mean?
Those emails that were provided to legal aid counsel. Those are emails about what is happening on Monday. One of them I have both of them right here. On Monday, the 24th, between 8 and 5 p.m. Jessica from Real Properties will enter your unit for a housekeeping inspection. You do not have to be home. You can be if you like. The other one is an occupancy check, which is Hi, resident. I hope everything is well with you. We noticed your balance is quite high. Are you living on the property? If not, please be or return your keys. Either way, on Monday, 2/24/25, we're going to check occupancy of your unit between 9 and 3. So everybody's gonna be there on Monday.
Yeah, everybody. Okay. Outside working on it.
Mr. Masco, please put something together for the court so that
When we spoke with tenants earlier today, we were put on notice about these different things that have gone out to them that really have nothing to do with repairs or actually
Mr.
inspection.
Friedman, I know you, you've been before me, I don't know how many years. As best you can, you better get to your clients. You need to tell them just to stop it. They're playing a game. And if they think they're the ones going to get burned, they're wrong. Anything else? All right. That will conclude the hearings. Mr. Friedman, we have your copies of your show causes. We can get you copies, or at least read. They're all the same in essence, but at least you can see what it is. Thank you. All right, court is standing. Oh, Mr. Hicks, Mr. Carlos Hicks, you were raising your hand, sir?
Yes, I got a question. Can you hear me, Judge?
Pardon?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So look, my balance, I got a program trying to help me with my balance and stuff like that, but they don't know what.
Sir, you're going in and out on me.
I said I got a program that's gonna try to help me with my balance, but they don't know what to do yet. So what do I tell them?
They have a what?
They gonna help me. Sorry, my phone is breaking up, but I have a program that's gonna help me with my balance, but they just don't know what to do next because of the situation.
Oh, in terms of paying the rent?
Yes.
Okay, they need to fill out an SER with the Department of Health and Human Services and then call Hawk.
Oh.
Okay, that the numbers and all of that stuff came in your paperwork.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. And one other question. What they gonna do about my black mold?
Sir, I wish I had the answer to that.
But they just never fixed the mold.
I'm working toward getting to that. I can't answer that yet. Okay.
All right. I'll let you take your time.
All right. Thank you. That'll conclude this hearing. 14A stands adjourned.